Being Métis is being twice blessed. I'm part of two family trees that are rich. My First Nation grandmothers and my grandfathers that were often from Scotland or Orkney Islands, England, and there's also the French Métis.
In Canada, prior to Canada becoming Canada and provinces becoming provinces, the Métis people arose in what we refer to as the historic Northwest and developed their own distinct language, culture, identity, known as the Métis Nation, often referred to as RIEL's people. What you see along the routes of the fur trade, in particular in the Northwest, is these distinct communities emerge, but in particular in the Red River settlement area, a coalescing of an identity, a nationhood. Those peoples, and what is a people in international law and domestically is there's a common language, there's a shared history, there's a territory, there's a collective consciousness where they assert themselves as a people. And of course the Métis were not here at first contact. They emerged as a distinct people on the plains nearly 200 years ago, and that is who the Métis people are.
Are you Métis? It's not only being of mixed ancestry, it's more than that. It's about identifying with the culture and participating as you're able, right?
What the Métis story, though, is it's really a story of denial, neglect, and not recognizing that that is a people. Interestingly, they did when they needed us back in 1869 and 70. There was no way through what is now Manitoba without dealing with RIEL's people at the Red River settlement and Métis people pushing back and saying, no, you will deal with us. And that begat the Manitoba Act and the promise of 1.4 million acres of land in what used to be the postage stamp province of Manitoba. That peoplehood was recognized. You treated nation to nation, government to get that deal that brought Manitoba into Confederation, and then allowed for treaties to be negotiated in the rest of Western Canada, as well as the rest of Western Canada to be brought into Confederation. What Canada did, though, was had amnesia of, well, we recognized you as a people, we had this treaty relationship, nation to nation, government to government in 1869-70, but we got what we wanted.
As the railway was going across the country, land was becoming more precious, and Métis people were asked to leave, right? They didn't have the right title to a land, so it was like, well, it's not yours, you must leave. So there's that land piece.
Métis have had to go to court to prove that they have rights, and they're defined by colonial courts, right? They're defined in a way of not, and as a right by right perspective. Doctrine of discovery assumes Canada's got it all, and you've got to pull it down jurisdiction by jurisdiction, right by right, what we will recognize or accept. And I think that still plays out for the Métis daily.
The concept of the doctrine of discovery has always been a part of Métis life, the impact of that, but having it named, that was an important moment for me, to have it named.
It's kind of interesting. It's like one of those sci-fi movies that it takes different forms all the time, whether it's the Indian Act or whether it's denial of Métis rights, and we don't realize it, right? And to a certain extent, Canadians are fed it in different ways, right? It's the idea that you hear, the negative comments you hear of, oh, well, we're giving First Nations, Métis everything, those sorts of comments where it's not a recognition of Canada's built upon these solemn promises and relationships that we've been doing a lot of sharing over the last 150 years, and you're seeing it from the view of, well, because you discovered, you've got it all.
There's a lot of work that has been done, but there's a lot of work left to be done. But the Métis are still here, yeah.